So we are back streaming live from Gloom and Doom in Belarus, and today is the 22nd of March, 17:25 local time. And we're getting back to you from the International Unselfish Center of the Goodwill. Yesterday, on Saturday, 21st of March, as promised, I made my own 50 answers to those weird insane questions on which I gave my sane and sober replies. But I will present to you right now that in the evening, while looking through my answers and looking through the recorded program, I found out that after 18th question, the sound was still going on, but the picture stood still. And I will show it to you right now. You will see it, how it went. Just check. This is yesterday's transmission.
Could have good fun if he would have deciphered and decoded, if it could have decoded my dreams. I'm sure it would be a very good serial filmed by Netflix.
So you've seen that the picture stood still. And that is why I decided to re-record. I made the podcast out of 50 questions answered yesterday. I left 18 because this was the very end of the 18th question, which I've been responding, and the picture went off. It stood still till the very end for another 40 minutes or so. That is why I'm planning to reiterate the missing 32 questions out of first 50 from block MAXI. And let me bring you to my site right now. So I'm back online. And from this questionnaire block, which we witness, I will repeat 32, starting from 19 today. From this 19th, I will go ahead and will repeat what I said yesterday, and I think I will give the same answers which I commented yesterday to those questions, and then I will finish up the promised 50. Today is Sunday. The English week is getting through. Tomorrow I will take recess because it was a very busy week. Due to coronavirus, I was buying that much of different kinds of food, conserves and macaroni and some rice flakes and buckwheat flakes and some others. So I was busy both physically, morally, financially, and so on. And that is why I'm ending up this week on Sunday. Saturday, yesterday I've been working, today I am working, so Monday I will take a recess. And next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, if we are not declared a quarantine, I will make it a Spanish week. And now a brief announcement about quarantine. If it happens, I will move all these cameras to my home, including the sports equipment, and it will be, call it behind the glass videoing, and I know what program I will have starting the week after. And be with me, stay with me, whoever, whatever quantity is watching me. I will act as per my own plan, and I will progress with programming and with giving you some information, and maybe I will bring a bit a zest of entertainment. And now we are passing to the questionnaire, and today I'm finishing the English session. Today is the 4th day, and out of all 200 questions, I will try, it will take me around 1 hour, plus or minus, to finish up all. I remind you that first, if we are staying at the front page of my internet site, which is center-dobro.com, and center is written in Russian way without pre-last letter E. It is center, not center. -dobro.com. This is my site where you will find those questionnaires and all other things like about us, like about the project, the concept, and so on and so on. And of course, online sessions booking timetable is here if you would like to get pre-booked or subscribed or signed up for the sessions. And now, promised 2 questionnaires starting from 19. Just checking here and there, are we still live and are we still transmitting? Now, 19th. When you are deceiving others, do you feel any remorse at that moment? The answer is no. When I deceive anybody, I don't feel remorse because I try to never deceive in my life. And those times when I have to, when I consider being obliged to deceive, this is a very sober, a very weighed, and a very considered, well-considered decision. That is why I think, I deem this situation when I tell lies to open face of somebody, this is the remedy, which I call it a remedy, to save the situation. So if I think that the best thing to save the situation, to get out of the consequences, possible consequences from the occasion we all turned in, it is not about saving even something, somebody. They say you should lie to save somebody's soul. This is not limited to as restricted cases. No, there are many occasions when I deem, when I consider to be the best option, the best remedy, the best outcome, if you just tell a prepared lie for all parties. And in these situations, I don't feel any minor remorse. Going further, 20. Here is in brackets, I put it for you. The question only concerns people who are deceiving. So those who never cheat at all or think so, should leave this question unanswered. That is, please skip it. So whenever a white soul, an angel, God, Krishna, Vishnu, Bab, or Baha'u'llah, or anybody else, any other prophet, is sitting in front of me, and when I ask, when you are deceiving others, do you feel any remorse at this moment? And I hear the answer, I skip on it. Meaning I never have such occasions, situations, or necessity to bring lies into this world. And then I would praise this person. And I'm waiting for such visitors at my studio. This studio, if they or if somebody of them would never expose life, would never bring lies to this world. Okay, what I made, now we make it like this. Yes, going further. 20. Do you consider yourself a rational person and versed in most of everyday life situations, issues, moments, problems surrounding you? And yes, I do consider myself to be rather experienced in those limited situations and occasions and household chores and other provisionary things which are happening to me, so-called dynamic stereotypes in our daily life. But definitely I understand that I'm not experienced, not aware of, not a specialist, not even being in knowledge of 99.99 period things in this surrounding us life. Definitely I have this inner understanding and awareness, complete awareness. 21. Are you a pretty quick-going personality? And yes, I am a pretty quick-going personality, because as answered yesterday or the other day, there was a question, are you a very emotionally reactive person? And I am emotionally reactive person. That is why, so I am quick-going personality. Do you do everything possible, strive for that, to look like any other person, any fictional character or real person actually living now or who has ever lived before. So no, I don't do anything and I don't strive for looking like somebody in particular. I don't try to copy anybody. 23, a very interesting question to me, created by me, which is really important for me to ask from my visitors and look straight into their eyes. And then we will see how they know how to deceive, if they know how to deceive people. If the killings were legally allowed, would you definitely kill someone or maybe even many people? And the answer is yes. If they were allowed, with my quick temper and with my judgmental considerations, with my so-called inner justice, I had occasions in my life when with my inner justice I considered it better to kill these people to redeem all world from his presence. It might be wrong, but if it was legalized and if it was allowed by all social canons and by all social norms and standards, I would. 24. Would you like to live as long as you want, managing the duration of your own life? Yes, this would have been a great option if it was granted to us by Providence. 25. Do you know about all your chronic diseases that you have, to your own knowledge? Yes, I do have few chronic diseases and I know about them. Definitely we are speaking about those which have been diagnosed. Most probably maybe there are some others, for sure there are some others which I don't know. So those that are existing, I know them. I'm never against and never afraid of being diagnosed, checked up, and I'm the one who is trying to always advance the knowledge of own illnesses and all diseases to most correctly and most duly and most timely combat them, to be able to most duly, most timely and most quality-wise combat them. 26. Do you love yourself in every sense? Meaning, would you choose yourself if you were a person of the opposite sex and were looking for a real soulmate in your life? And the answer is no. I'm not the type of perfect person or ideal couple, ideal soulmate, so-called, for any family living, let's say, or for any socialized living. I know many more people who are more accommodative, who are more who are more subordinate, who are less dominant or dominative, who could get accustomed to some vices and some virtues of the other person. And I'm the hard type. Those principled principles, which are own shitty principles, they really disturb me in life, and they really make me problems with getting along with some people, including most dear ones, primarily most dear ones. Now, 27. Are there any things, actions for which you have yourself, for which you hate yourself with all your heart and all your soul, and would like them to never have happened in principle? Yes, definitely, many of those. So there have been many situations in which I hate myself with my deep soul and with all of my heart, and I would love them to never have happened. And for this, if I was such person, as previously answered, would I kill anybody if the killings were possible? So for such situations I would kill myself. I mean, or somebody should have killed myself. That is why I honestly responded, I'm not a type of good person from all aspects, from all points of view. I can never call myself being a good person. No. Going further. 28. Would you go to a reconnaissance operation with the kind of person as you are? And for this question, I need to answer yes, definitely. For this kind of personality and for this kind of characteristics that should be a part of a human being, especially men, but not only men, I am that type. So if we are speaking, would I go to a reconnaissance operation with such kind of person as I am the kind. 29. Can you characterize your standard working day with 3 or less tasks? I can. In previous life, in previous years, let's say up to 40 for sure, now I'm 47, I was the kind of person who was rushing, who was following all possible major and minor activities. Now I try to do only strategic things, only those which concern determined by myself, qualified by myself, and chosen by myself as the most crucial and important ones. All the rest, I can leave it or do it in the evening or at night, if I have time and when I have my open will. 30. Do you know how to multiply any 2-digit numbers in your head, 1 to 99 by 1 to 99, without the help of a calculator? Yes, I mentioned several times, I am the type that can easily multiply double-digit figures by another double-digit figure, and even double-digit to 3-digit figure, and with hard effort, but still I will succeed in 2 out of 3 times multiplying 3-digit figures by 3-digit figures. It took me around 20 to 30 minutes, few times to make my head operational work, but 2 out of 3 times I made it correctly. And the other time when I make mistake, it is last 2 digits usually, which I make some wrong calculation, wrong summing up, wrong adding up at the final processes, so I know where the mistake and the problem are rooted. Are you really to die? Are you ready to die for your homeland? No. Would you like your child to fight in the army for his homeland? No. Do you think America is the enemy? No. Do you consider Russia as a friend? Everyone except the citizens of Russia should answer this question. Of course, yes. And again, I need to clarify these 2 questions. One of my friends, having looked at this, he told these are politics and you are a declared person of non-discussing politics. To me, this is not political questions. To me, this is a questions of either stratification for the people, segregation, and the, how you call it, the differentiation and discrimination of those people, depreciation of some kinds, groups, religious, ethnic groups of people, etc., including nationality, including the political views, any groups of people. So when we are speaking about the country, we can never say no to a question, do you consider this country as a friend? Definitely all countries in the world should be called yes, because any particular person of the country, be it a president, be it a citizen whom you met once in your life, be it a group of people, they cannot serve as the orientation, as a benchmark, as a typical fingerprint of a country, of a land, of anything. This is so-called oikumena. Oikumena is the living territory in our a land populated better territory in our Earth, planet Earth. That's why any oikumena cannot be considered, named, qualified as the enemy. For all countries, for all nations, we should say, yes, they are a friend. 35. Do you consider your birthplace to be your homeland? And yes, I was born in Minsk, Belarus, and I consider it to be a homeland. Do you think a nuclear war, any exchange of nuclear strikes, is inevitable within the next 50 years? And my answer is yes, for sure. If we consider any nuclear strike to be possible, and it would be again qualified as the act of war, nuclear war, then my consideration is that within 50 years, with all those turmoils, with all those turbulences which we have in life, in our daily actual life, for sure, definitely, we, with great possibility and great, how you call it, probability and huge probability, it might be, to my opinion, the act of nuclear war. Do you think the humanity will finally self-destroy due to some environmental issues, nuclear war, or any other issues? Yes, I do think so. I do think that not Mother Nature will demolish, extinguish, obliterate us from the planet Earth. I do believe that we will self-destroy, and definitely we are doing everything with the increasing, speeding up, exponentially getting faster and faster spiral all over us. And the proofs we find in daily life, everywhere. Do you think we need to conquer the cosmos before we deal with all problems on our planet and continuing to crap on it, destroy it in all possible abiotic and unnatural ways? So do you think we need to conquer the cosmos before we clean up our planet? No, I don't think so. I think that this cluttering up and jamming up and trashing out all over our planet and putting the trash and rubbish everywhere, we are just spoiling ourselves, and we will be doing the same on other planets. And we are not a type of lousy cockroaches which spoil here, go another place, spoil here, go another place. Although this might be really the case, if we consider ourselves to such creatures, then yes, of course we will first spoil here that we are doing. Absolutely, we will kill, destroy, destruct, demolish our home, and then we will try to fly away, but I don't think we will be able to. This is my opinion. Now, 39, mildly speculative. Would it be enough for you to have around yourself just a circle of closed persons, 150 to 200, or even between 500 to 1,000 people, out of all living representatives of the human race on planet Earth, while all the rest people's destiny wouldn't have any importance for you at all? So I'm that kind of person. For me, if I would have been able to choose between 500 to 1,000 human race representatives to my choice, to my own selection, it will be considered as a great number of living population around myself. Ceteris paribus, being all other side equals, meaning that all the provisions and all other things that we have available right now would be available also for these 500 to 1,000 people, including myself, and the destiny of all other people wouldn't be that much or at all important to me. I considered about these questions, I was thinking, I was pondering it within myself many times, and I truly believe that being an egoist also, I answered this question. Are you egoist? Yes, I think so, and I think most of people on planet Earth, if not all, are egoistic and egocentric. So I really don't care for majority of population, and I don't approve what majority of population on planet Earth is doing, including some acts of my own. But if we are speaking excluding myself and I have to choose some selective people, then really I don't care of most population on planet Earth. I think that all of us are imbeciles. We are spoiling this planet. We are spoiling ourselves. We are not creating any progressive evolutionary things, but we are just using Mother Nature for our own favor by consuming everything, by destroying everything, by killing everybody and everything without any well-founded concept, without any proven or justified reason. Going further. 40. Do you have your own principles which you would be ready to give your life for? The answer is no. I have my very principled principles, but I'm not ready to give my life for. I explained, in myself, I would like to have only the choice to give my life for my close ones, if required to. But this is not the principles which I would need to, which I would like to stand for and exchange any kind of principles for my own life. Not at this stage, and this is the honest answer. Although it would be very nice, most probably for you and for myself, to hear an honest answer. Yes, I'm that much principled that I'm ready to give life for some of my principles. If you ask me, if I ask myself, what are these principles for which you would give your life, or would be able to give your life, I can't invent it even. I can't spit it out. This principle, this principled principle. Going further. 41. Do you think that children, when they grow up and achieve certain successes in life and an adequate financial level, are obliged to take care of their elderly, although not yet completely weak parents? So my answer is no, because the question is, are obliged. So nobody is obliged in this planet Earth, in our world, anything. Everything should be done either on agreement or upon goodwill, or better, on goodwill and mutual agreement, accord and concordance. But if I would have put the question, would I like, is it better, is it socially oriented, should they take care of their parents, then the answer would be, of course, yes. Everybody should take care of his close one, not only about parents, about many those surrounding ones, primarily our most close and dear ones, parents including in the first circle of own responsibilities. But it is about should, about better to, about is it natural? And yes, the answer would be in this situation, yes. But are they obliged? Is it an obligation? The answer is no. 42. Is it important for you what will happen after your death? No. Do you trust the information received from the internet, from its main information sources and the proven non-tendentious, unbiased internet portals much more than from TV? Of course. In your sincere personal opinion, your children would like to take an example from you and be like you in life from their own point of view. What do you think? And my honest answer is no. I think they shouldn't, and they better not. They should live their own life, their own happy life, based on their own principles, which might be imbibed by them, attained by them, achieved by them, from us or through us, their parents. But Definitely, I don't consider my life most interesting in the world, my life most valuable in the world, my life worth copying, my life worth following. No, nothing of that. So I don't think also the things that the parent is doing should be definitely succeeded and forth passed by his child. Why? I am a very libertinistic, not libertine, but libertinistic person, and that is why I think that the liberty in all aspects is a very good word to be used for. And then I don't think that many children would like to follow their parents' path, way, work, or dreams, that many parents in some occasions are pushing their children to be the instrument and imply and perform and embody into life their own dreams. And I hate this such approach in life. Children should live their own way, and to my opinion, better, most of them never follow the path of their children. The better characters, yes, but this we are speaking about the features of character, but not about the path or about the work or about something else, the straight direction that parents took willingly by themselves. Children should take their willingful, open, unbiased decision after they are 21, let's say, when their brain activity is absolutely free already and composed, and their axons and dendrites are millionized in their brain, and their prefrontal cortex is clear and clean. So they should be able to take their own open and direct decisions without participation, without major participation or domination by their parents. It was important sidewalk that I needed to do. And the question started, in your sincere personal opinion. So this was my sincere personal opinion. 45. Do you have 5 or more real friends or girlfriends with whom you would go on a dangerous reconnaissance mission and not be afraid for yourself? Or afraid of for yourself, I think, yeah, afraid for yourself. Knowing for sure they won't let you down and they won't betray you under any circumstances. Yes, I have more than 5 such people in my life, and I am lucky to have such people. And some of them live in different countries. Not of them are my close bosom friends from Belarus. One is living in India, one is living in Turkey, or even more than one living in Turkey. For sure, I think more than one. Some live in Ukraine, many live, or more than few live in Belarus. So I'm a happy human being to have such friends who would never betray, and you could go on a dangerous reconnaissance mission with them, knowing they won't let you down. This was a good question and my honest answer. 46. Are you a person whose opinion is always important and appreciated by people around you? And the answer is yes. I do know that in those circles where I'm oscillating, where I'm turning, where I'm regularly visiting, let's say, let's put it this way, my opinion is having value. And this remark I need to make here, that definitely this is not opinion which is always followed by those people who would like to have the valuable opinion of my own. And this doesn't mean that they don't oppose to this opinion. They do oppose, they don't follow from time to time, but definitely they'd like to hear my opinion and again to use it as a thesis or antithesis for their own considerations, whatever path, whatever advice they follow or not follow given from my side. That is why the opinion, is it valuable? It is. Everybody, or many people, most of people whom I know surrounding me, be it my friends or enemies, they value my opinion. Is it worth following every time? No. Going further. Would you like to live in any other country? All other factors, ceteris paribus, meaning, this is Latin expression, ceteris paribus, which I learned not long ago, meaning all other things being equal or remaining the same. Understanding that you will need to emigrate there, keep your life at a new place, build new relationships with strangers, learn the language of that country, etc. So my answer is no, I wouldn't like to live in any other country. I traveled a lot, I like many countries, for example Spain, for example India, to some extent Turkey, Russia, name it. So there are, Ukraine also, by the way. So there are few countries which I really would find some good place to live at, and even in some of them I wouldn't need to learn another question. But Belarus, and especially city of Minsk, to my opinion, to my present opinion, actual life is the best, to me, to my family, place to live on planet Earth, for many, based on many criteria, for many reasons, and having honest comparison for those crucial and even secondary aspects which I can make comparativistic between Belarus and other countries. I would place my bet in favor of Belarus and Minsk, in particular the city of Minsk, for this mean moment. This was my honest answer. Going further, 48. Would you like to be born a person of the opposite sex? And the answer is no, but there is big but. The answer is no because I don't know how it feels to be the person of a person of the opposite sex. They say, and they meaning doctors or the people related to the medicine and related to knowledge of physiology of the person. They say that women, ladies, they have much more receptors of all kinds that can perceive this life in more bright colors. They have emotions more explicitly exposed and more explicitly involved into their daily life, which makes this life brighter. So if I could make comparison, honest, and we call it the proven comparison, then yes, I would like to try, and I might, with a big ratio, choose to be a person of the opposite sex. It is of ladies, of women of female sex. But at this stage, if it is a blind guess, a blind date, I'm not going for it, sorry. 49. Are you more ready to support insipid and uninteresting people who do not create anything in planetary and progressive terms, but who are good human beings in general, and stick to all basic values recognized by our society, rather than universally recognized geniuses, creators, and people who make a huge contribution to the development of science, medicine, culture, art, etc., but who in the commonly accepted sense are strange people and sometimes even immoral, with a rather ugly behavior according to established social standards. So are you more ready to support insipid and uninteresting people? My answer is no. I'd love to support, and my thoughts and my heart lies with those creators, geniuses, and those who foment, who create new things, who make the evolution progress, and who makes our life better. Compared to the cycling or cycling sports, I can use the peloton and the leader group make the comparison of the peloton and the leaders group. When the peloton, all teams in this team race are following the leaders group of, let's say, Lance Armstrong, or was it Valery Vinokurov? Was he Valery? I don't remember, but Vinokurov in Astana team. So there were few interesting and very nice team leaders who were taking 2-3 their teammates together with them and so-called escaped from the peloton. And this group was determining and was defining the speed for the whole peloton, hundreds of other racing cyclists who were following them, and in most cases there is a term in Russian, they have eaten the runaway leaders group, but in some cases the leaders group ran away from this peloton. And so those geniuses, those creators and those other people who foment, who progress, who make our life evolve, they are of my primary respect and of my primary homage, and let's say the attention to this part from my side is much more than to simple law-obedient people who try to follow all laws, and they, many of them, I would say many of them, they are proud of just being law followers, not thinking that they don't do almost nothing or nothing at all useful for the progress of the society. They don't bring a small corpuscular, a small particular part of goodness to make the humanity go ahead and progress by itself, in itself, within itself. So this was the answer. I'm on the side of the creators. Whatever immoral deeds they do immoral. I put here what immoral on purpose. This is the end line. I didn't put here socially unacceptable things. Immoral means they're not very hygienic, some of them. Some of them do things which in personal life which wouldn't be considered a very common, like very appropriate. Change wives, betray their children, or leave their children to the how you call it, the child houses, or some how you would call it, the asylums or whatever. So this is immoral things actually, but I don't judge them on this immorality, because they bring into our life those crucial, bright, most important colors that makes our life of this big peloton easier, nicer, happier, richer, and you name other things. 50. Could you easily imagine your desired future? For example, if God existed and He offered to you, draw any future for yourself that you would like to see, and I will realize it for you. So my answer is no. I cannot invent any kind of future that would make me absolutely, ultimately satisfied. No. I think that it is a very good thing that we have a range. How you call it this? A fan. Give me 1 sec. I will find this word. In Spanish it is abanico. Abanico, and in Russian it is veer, but I don't remember it in English. Abanico, let me write it. Abanico de colores. Hand fan. Yeah, fan. So it is a spectrum or fan. Okay. So this hand fan. Where were we? We were in questions here. So there is a wide spectrum or the hand fan of possibilities, of options, and life is nice for that we don't know those options, what might happen in 1 minute or in 10 years or in 50 years. And this brings this suspense, and the uncertainty brings interest in our life, brings this feeling of adventure, of living adventure, every minute and every moment of our life. Different adventures, sometimes very hard, but every time interesting, because almost every time it is new if we are trying to live a new adventure. Have you ever had situations when you seriously thought about suicide? Yes, in my childhood mostly. I never thought about suicide when I became grown up, but when I was getting very bad marks at school, I remember those moments, few moments, when I was willing to jump off the neighboring building to our school. And then either the sun was brightly shining those days, or I was not that much courageous. But after coming home, getting back home, it didn't change much in my life. Nobody killed me for those bad marks or mostly bad behavior. I was a very, misbehaving person at school. So nobody did anything, neither to my body nor to my soul in a deep aspect. I was hit by a belt few times in my life. My father was hitting me by a belt. It was more a restrictive measure rather than the physical punishment or castigation. But nevertheless, I remember those times. 52. Is friendship for you a sacred thing associated with a strong internal commitment? And the answer is yes, definitely, and without any going deep into this subject. 53. Is your most frequent answer to more than half of all questions in life, I honestly don't know? For me, now, yes. And mostly the questions are asked by the children, mostly, or very few friends who rarely ask such questions from me. And I honestly say that I don't know, and I think any honest also and deep thinking person cannot reply more than 50% cases with some detailed, definite, fixed and firm reply or information, providing any information. Our brain cannot contain that much information. This is A, and it cannot create a very strict road to the answer, to reach the answer for most of questions in our life. So I do believe that the more responsible is the correct word, is the person, the more responsible is the person, the less fixed, firm, and strict, straight questions he or she would give. Going further. 54. Do you feel like a Belarusian? Just identify yourself with any other specific nationality of the country you live in. So as far as I live in Belarus, yes, I do feel like a Belarusian. I consider myself being Belarusian. 55. Do you think every day about your own life in one form or another and about your place in it? Yes, I do think about life in this or that aspect and about my place in it daily since many years back. Do you always read and correct your letters and messages or messages 2 or more times before sending them? I always do it minimum 4 times for the most short 1-sentence letter. 4 times I would read it before having sent. Changing the words, making so-called inversion, changing the place of the words in the sentence, checking my orthography, definitely. And thirdly, checking if my thought was laconically, was concisely and precisely expressed, exposed in paper or in the email or in anything that I was supposed to send to the recipient of this message. And I do try to be sharp, is again the correct word, with all my messages. Some messages that have many blocks in it, even if it is one page, but having 6, 7, 8, 10 blocks within one letter, I check before sending up to 30, 40 times. I do think that the written words should strike, and every placed word that is should be considered properly, and it should really reflect your thoughts. And if the recipient, having read, cannot clearly understand from the very first approach what was meant to be, what was the real message sent, what was the topic, what was the idea or ideas to be reflected in the received message, this only reflects and only states the poor thinking of the sender. So I try to not place myself within the group of the poor thinking people. I try to think thoroughly. 57. Do you have well-founded ambitions for yourself, and do you fight for them daily? Yes, I do have well-founded ambitions, and I fight for them daily. 58. Do you have more than 1,000 contacts on your mobile phone? And yes, I do have around 2.5 thousand contacts right now at my smartphone. 59. Your happiest moment in life is now. Is it? It is a philosophical question, definitely. One of my most happiest and brightest moments in my life was a wedding of my best friend Manish in India. And I still remember, and I'm mentioning this fact to most of my friends when the question arises about the most bright experience in your life. It was the wedding, the real Indian wedding, with hundreds of participants that lasted around 2 weeks. So this was, but if we are speaking philosophically, what is, and we are living only in present time, we are having only present time. We don't have past, we don't have future. We are all the time in present, and then it stops and we die. So if we are speaking philosophically, definitely my best and my happiest moment is now. And now going further, 60. Have you ever experienced in your life such circumstances when you felt like being able to kill a person sitting right in front of you? Various times. Maybe this was not dozens times, but definitely it was more than few. Again, I would use this word, I judged within myself. I made a court within myself of the person, for the person, or against the person sitting in front of me or in front of me, and I judged him or her. And I was able within myself and willing to kill this person few times, more than few times in my life. Mostly in my adolescence, but still. Now, 61. Are you not afraid that lying on your deathbed and looking back at your life, retrospectively analyzing its most important moments, you would experience a great disappointment and feel that everything was wrong? I do. So, are you not afraid that lying? First of all, I'm not afraid, but I do think that it might be the case. And I'm not afraid of this. You never know. You never know. 62. Do you consider most people to be egoistic, egocentric individuals? Yes, most. Absolute, predominant majority. 63. Is it absolutely not difficult for you to apologize sincerely in those situations where you are wrong and know it yourself or by yourself? Yes, it's not difficult for me. I learned, and I, how you would call it, I I created it within myself. No, correct word will be I grew it. I made it, grew within myself. I trained myself. It is not the very correct word. I'm looking for another. It's like a plant. The plant is growing and somebody is wait for a sec. So I grew it. I grew. In Russian it will be я взрастил это в себе. In English it would be I learned how to grow it, or I grew it within myself. The ability to really sincerely apologize when I feel myself and within myself that I was wrong. It's not difficult at all. It's not difficult. It's easy. When you sincerely understand that you were wrong and you proved it to yourself. Why then to hide it from other people? So yes, it is not difficult at all. Absolutely not difficult for me to sincerely apologize for those situations. 64. Do you easily change your priorities and guidelines depending on daily changing circumstances, new facts and information that come into your life? And the answer is yes, I easily change my priorities and guidelines. I didn't put here word principles. Principles are more strong things, definitely. They don't change from the incoming information on daily basis. But the guidelines and priorities, immediately takes me a second to change it if the information coming or incoming information states, confirms, proves that the previous attitude to those facts was wrong. So if my attitude to the previous world map, they call it, was wrong, another world map and another pattern, another matrix is being constructed in my brain immediately and starts implementing immediately. Are you a primate? Yes, all of us, the human race, are primates. 66. Do you think that for humanity, as representatives of the biological genus, it is important to constantly procreate and pass on its own genome so that this very human race does not disappear from the face of the earth? And this is a really important goal. No, this is a shitty goal. Mother Nature and the universe and the evolution itself, they will decide which genome to take for which purposes, who is to live, who is to die, and definitely to consider this a procreation process as one of the most important features of the human race would be a very simplistic, silly, to me, silly concept and silly aspect and silly, what did I place here? Silly goal as a goal. 67. Do you know how to courteously, graciously break off relationships with other people when you feel that the time has come? I think yes, that I know how to break with the people courteously and graciously when I feel that the time has come. First of all, it is necessary to define within yourself and prove to yourself that the time has come. This is the most important. And when you have proved this, have defined within yourself that the time has come, then it is not difficult for me to make the breaking act, to implement it, to embody it into life itself. 68. Can you easily adapt to a surrounding you environment and find some positive and interesting moments in absolutely any life situation? To my opinion, yes. I mentioned already in Russian answers of the same question that out of all types of character, temperament, I think this is temperament types, I'm sanguineous. and sanguineous being their melancholic, choleric, sanguinic, and it is choleric, sanguinic, melancholic, and phlegmatic. So out of these four, I believe to a very typical sanguinis, sanguinic or sanguinis. And this is the most accommodative, the most accommodative type, and the most accommodative, this is not character, this is temperament type. So this is the most accommodative kind or type of temperament. So I do easily, rather easily. 69. Are you ready right now on the spot to name 10 of those considered to be reliable, veracious, authentic, and well-known statements, and afterwards do not doubt the correctness of all of them, or at least most of them? The answer is no. I'm not ready to spot and not doubt. I will doubt many statements in our life considered so-called the common opinion, or it is called a conventional knowledge or conventional thinking. They are, to my opinion, fully correct, not fully correct, incorrect, not correct, and you can deliberate and discuss those issues. I would love and I will like to discuss them with anybody of you, whoever comes to my session. This is this place, my studio, is exactly the place where I'd like to have such conversations, where we would shock those commonly recognized, commonly accepted, commonly considered as conventional opinions, points of view, some dogmatic issues. This is for which I created this project named the International Unselfish Center of the Goodwill. This is the nominal name, sorry for tautology, of this project. I named it that way. 70. Is there anything that you could not forgive another person for? I think that no. I think that I would like to forgive another person for anything, and anything. Richard Branson, 2 or 3 years back, giving the interview to one of our most praised and most famous and most experienced, most renowned interviewers, journalists, who is Posner, Mr. Vladimir Posner, Richard Branson from Virgin. He was asked the same question by Mr. Vladimir Posner, and he replied that he also thought for some moment, and he told such thing doesn't exist in life. He thinks that he can forgive anything. And I liked his answer. I thought also that this is a very correct way of life understanding, even from self-protective point of view. Definitely your karma, so-called, your aura, your inner world would be better protected if you don't have this vicious, deteriorating and eroding from between, from inside, part of your own soul, of your own thoughts, of your own bad ideas that are eroding, deteriorating yourself from inside. And then it is very nice to be able to forgive anybody, a very good self-protective instrument. Going further. This is my wife writing to me now. I need to write her, I am online. Okay, going further. Do you love and hate yourself at the same time? And this is a very correct expression, statement, which I placed in the form of question to my visitors, to my vis-a-vis people. And the answer is yes. I love myself and hate myself at the same time. Yes. 72. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Aren't you ashamed of yourself for those dirty thoughts from the point of view of public morality that your brain generates in the struggle for those bright ideas and principles that you defend inside yourself despite of their approval or disapproval by society? So aren't you ashamed of yourself with those called by society dirty thoughts, but in reality for you they are white and bright ideals and principles? So I'm not ashamed. Whatever society thinks, whoever thinks, my society or different society, if I am fighting and I consider it in myself for own bright ideals and principles, I don't care what society or whoever in the world is thinking. Sorry. 73. Does the reality of life surrounding you scare you? Definitely yes. Do you get inner satisfaction and find peace within yourself when you easily achieve a simple and quick solution to any actual everyday problem with lies or deceit? So the answer is no. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not against lies or deceits, although deceit is a dirty lie, so deceit is a bad word, but I'm not against of lies. If they are a part of hardworking, interesting, long strategic process, then I don't object, and I'm not against lies. But if lies and deceit, let's say short action, that brought to a bright result, such achievements do not bring me any pleasure, and such achievements in brackets, they do not bring me any satisfaction. Do you honestly admit to yourself that you are addicted to social services networks to the same extent as addicted are alcoholics, smokers, and drug addicts to their diseases? So I admit myself that such addiction as social network addiction is equal to drugs, smokers, and anything. But I'm not registered, I don't have and never had any account in any social network. So this question is not related to me at all. None. 76. Are you ready to sacrifice your little finger on any foot if the status quo of your pleasures, well-being, and good mood were guaranteed to continue until the very end of your long life? A long life, happy. And I would. If it is little finger on my leg, I would. Till the end of my life, all pleasures, all happiness, and it is a long life guaranteed? Yes. 77. Do you sometimes break down and can emotionally yell at people close to you, whether at home or at work, etc.? And the answer is sorry, yes. And it is very bad habit, and I fight against this habit, and I lose in this fight by now. And I am sorry for that. and I'm asking excuses, open and sincere excuses afterwards, but I do yield on my close circle people from time to time. And I don't have any right to do so. And this is one of the biggest, maybe the biggest vice that I have. 78. Do you have a stable internal opinion on all basic issues that you regularly encounter in everyday life? Yes, I have a stable internal opinion on those basic issues which I encounter, which I meet, face in everyday life. Yes, I think I'm rather prepared and rather well trained person in those things. 79. Would you like your children to be your continuation, successors of your ideas and traditions? No, I already in different angle replied on this question above. Are you internally sure that together we will try to find a solution to your question or problem? This is a question directed by me to my interlocutors. And I expect the answer to be yes. Why? Because there is a word try to find. So if there was no try, if it sounded as, are you internally sure that together we will find a solution to your question, the answer would definitely be no, by no means I don't believe to that. In one session time, in 1.5 hours, we will find a solution? Hell no. But if are you internally sure that together we will try to find, we will discuss, we will really look for a solution, then the answer in most cases is expected to be yes, we will try, we will do our best to find. Does this mean we will find? No. So 80, my reply would be yes. 81, are you a good person? I already replied on this question. No, I do not consider myself to be, from many own judgmental points, a good person. And it is a hard question to reply every time, knowing that I am trying to be honest to myself and knowing that I accept myself being not a good person. Going ahead. 82. Do you think you are respected by all people who see you with regularity and know you well, whether at work, in a sports club, or in a food store nearby your house? The answer is yes. I am respected. I do everything to be respected. I try to do my best to receive, prove the right to be respected by those people who surround me. Yes. 83. Are you ready to shave bald? If you lose in a dispute, it should be a bet, not in a dispute, in a bet, in which you were 200% sure that you would win, but nonetheless lost as a result. And that was the terms of that bet, I would say, not dispute, although it was essentially insignificant. So yes, I am ready to shave bald. I mentioned this also in the Russian session. If I was the side which had to win or which won in such bet, I would be the first person to say, I withdraw the responsibility and I withdraw the stake of this bet. Don't go bald. But this is related only to the side that won in the bet. He has the right to cancel the score and to cancel the stake. But the side that lost, if he is the honest and decent person, he should go and shave bald his head. Okay? 84. Do you think our life is fair and in every act and its result a causal dependence could be traced. And every generation has responsibility for its ancestors and has to pay for their mistakes, or vice versa, has the benefits from their past good lives. My opinion, no. We should not get benefits or sacrifice or get punishments for the previous lives of our antecedents, ancestors. And I don't think there is even the direct consequential relation or correlation with those things even we do in our life. There are many things we do right, they don't bring us benefits or goodness, and there are few things or many things that some of us do bad, and they don't get punishment into their or our lives either. So everything is entangled, intricate, much more complicated as to just lie on the surface, good for good, bad for bad, eye for eye. It doesn't work as this. Unfortunately, maybe unfortunately, it would be much more fair and much more justified if and proper if every activity had its direct effect and consequences, and everybody would know this. There would be no wars, I think there would be no lies, there would be no deceits, because everybody would know that the consequences would be collateral and that they would be absolutely, how you call it, equal, let's say. Paritatic, I was looking there, the parity, the paritatic, I was looking for the word. 85. Does your husband or wife treat you as a person with due respect and intelligence? So in Russian, I withdrew this question. In English, I could say yes, she does, at least my wife, but still, it is the question, as I told it in Russian, about the third person. So only the third person can respond on this. And she can, from deep down of his soul, respond, yes, I really treat this person as a personality from major letter P, or not. We could consider it, we could presuppose, but we could be greatly mistaken. That is why one of my basic principles is to try avoid speaking about on behalf of the third person. And this question is to speak on behalf of the third question. Nevertheless, 86. If a friend of yours took a loan from you without any interest for 1 year, and a year has passed 1 month ago, but he never contacted you on his own, would you remind him of his past obligation at your next conversation or first meeting with him or not? Would you? Me? Yes. If the person is, what is the correct word? Irresponsible, and if he took money, 1 year passed, he never appeared, he never arose out of the blue, he never reminded of his debt, and he never recognized that he is planning to either prolong the period or anything humanly expectable, then definitely I would, looking into his eyes, I would ask, my dear friend, what happened to your soul? Why you don't mention about the debt which you qualified to be taken for 1 year, already 1 month passed above this period, and you keep your mouth shut? This is not a behavior of a strong personality and of a trustworthy person. I would remind, yes. 87. If at this stage of your life You were offered 10 million US dollars for your life, but you could send this money to anyone you wanted. Dispose of it before your death at your own discretion. Would you take this offer? So my answer at this present actual moment of this life, I wouldn't. I'm not interested in such offer, not for any money at all. And I pray God that such moment never comes, that I would need to, or I would change my mind to reply at such questions with the answer yes. So, 88. For the New Year and all other holidays, do you usually resend congratulations messages and pictures created by other people instead of sending a unique, unconventional, made by yourself personalized message to your friends and relatives? So no, I try to never do these things. To send unnamed, resend numerously, enormously, silly pictures, stupid congratulations to other people. I do try to make it personalized, and although I send it to many other of my friends, relatives, be it elderly people or youngsters, with just changing name or few words, but this message is created by myself and it is still personalized. It is going from Denis Dobrovolsky. It was created by Denis Dobrovolsky. It passed through my brain and my fingers. It is not something that dropped from other computer, created by somebody, and was just being resent. I think this is a very silly way to treat people and a very ugly, kind of communication. 89. Would you agree with the statement that many people on planet Earth exist almost their whole life in a territory of their own incomprehensive consciousness, in a so-called dark cognitive zone of their own mind? My opinion is yes, many people. I wouldn't qualify most or not most, but many people whom I met, they really live in this dark cognitive zone. They have a porridge, I call it, have a porridge in their brain. As Mr. Jagi Vasudev, Sadhguru, is saying, we have cooking every day throughout our life, a soup in our brain. The only difference is between us, is it a good soup or is it a bad soup? So to my opinion, many people have bad soup, lousy broth, without proper meaty pieces, without proper spices, without proper correlation of those spices and ingredients that they put in this soup. And mostly it is empty chicken broth of many people. 90. Have you already composed your will in which all your property, assets and holdings has been assigned as you would like to dispose of after your death? My reply is definitely yes. I made my will when I was, I think, around 23 years old. The first asset when was acquired in my life, I made a will, and then I added to it several times, I changed it and so on. But I think this is the best way to make responsible distribution and responsible sharing is a correct word of those things that you would like your relatives and friends maybe to dispose of, to share, to hold, to possess after you are gone. And your responsibility, my responsibility in my case, self put over my shoulders, is considered by me to avoid fight, to avoid by my activity or inactivity provoking of possible revenge, fight, war between those people who are left behind after I am gone. So am I thinking, is it important for me? There was a question, what will happen after my death? So it is not important anything that will happen after my death. Meaning what people would think of me, and will I leave any huge traces in this life? This is not of my very little attention and importance, have very minor importance to me. But am I during my life venerating, valuing, respecting those people who are surrounding me and still will be living, and I might be the reason to spoil their life? This is important to me while I am living. That is why while I am living, I try to keep those things arranged which might be the root, the reason of their fight, war, revenges, and anything bad to be generated by me. Why should I be this generator? Or inductor, to induce, to generate, to the correct word will be this chemical reaction, catalyzer. I don't want to be a catalyzer of those reactions. 91. We are left with just 10. Bear with me. If you enjoy my comments, bear with me. 10 more. Finito. 91. Would you be willing to exchange your life, meaning to die, for any person you choose? Husband, wife, son, daughter, sister, brother, or any other person on planet Earth, should such circumstances arise? Would you be willing? Yes, I would be willing. I would love such circumstances never to arise, but I would be willing definitely to exchange my life for those mentioned people who are dear to me. Yes. 92. Do you reflect at least several times every day? Yes. 93. Are you ready to keep responsibility for absolutely all of your own actions and deeds? Yes. And to my opinion, if we teach children from early childhood, from their early conscious period of their livinghood, to feel responsible, to be responsible, and to keep responsibility for own actions and deeds, this would eliminate, this would strike out so many possible problems with irresponsibility of the grown-ups, that they never attained this good feature of character, being responsibility, in their lives, in our lives. So definitely we should keep responsibility, and definitely it should be nurtured from the very young age, which is not in many cases. Again, most or not most, I don't know. I haven't been present to the educational process among 7.5 billion people living on planet Earth right now. I was not present, but I do know that many cases they are lacking responsibility. They are lacking a feeling of teaching responsibility, lessons of learning responsibility. 94. Do you like to feel like a hero inside yourself, regardless of whether others know about it, notice it or not? Yes. Regardless, was it noticed by any other person or not, I do try to feel like a hero in myself. I like to accomplish certain own placed, own forwarded assignments, to reach results in those assignments, to reach those results which I consider important to myself, and afterwards to feel hero, because usually it is stepping over yourself, stepping over your unwillingness to do those things. It is stepping over your own laziness. It is always for fomenting and molding, about fomenting and about molding your character. And that is why I do feel a hero when the own task, self-placed own task, is accomplished. 95. Would you like to know what real thoughts are in the heads of persons of the opposite sex during your conversation with them? And the answer is enormous yes. I'd like to know what kind of soup is cooked there. It's of primary interest to me when I converse to a girl or a lady, what bright, colorful, emotional, numerous ideas are ebulliting, are boiling, are being cooked, are being entangled and thrown out from her head through her versification, through her words, into her interlocutor, being myself or anybody else, if I'm just present at this situation. So I would love to know what's in the head of the females and ladies and girls. 96, a very important question. Are you satisfied with your peristalsis? And the answer is yes. And I wish the same to you. 97, do you think that to train yourself by long, exhausting workouts and then complete the entire distance of the Ironman qualification would be quite harmful for the female body at any age? And definitely I do think, yes, it is dangerous for any female body and with any kind of preparation or readiness to pass this. It is dangerous, I do think so. And harmful, dangerous and harmful. 98, do you think that knowledge of the fundamentals of biology and of your own body basic systems functioning, also its biochemical or neurophysiological processes, is extremely important for gaining a higher quality of life? And definitely I think yes. The more we know about ourselves, the more we know of ourselves, the more high quality of life, the more under control we could live our life. And then the meaning of quality of life comes. So the more we keep ourselves under control, the more programmed quality we could achieve. 99. When you visit public toilets, this is very important for men. To me, this is an extreme question. Just let me finish it. When you visit public toilets, at the airports, in trains, in train stations, you first wash your hands and only then go to the booth. Me, yes, I do it always twice. I first wash my hands and then touch all my organs, would name them. And predominant majority, I would say all or almost all people whom I noticed, I'm speaking about men. I haven't entered ever to the ladies' toilets or water closets. So men usually rush to the cabin, to the booth first, or to pissoir area, and then they go and wash their hands. At the airports, in the train stations, in anywhere where there are public toilets. And I wonder, from the airport, from having touched their suitcases, shaken hands with other people, driving the car, having so many microbes in their hands, they are going and touching all the intimate, most hygienic, hidden parts of their body with all those trillions of germs. bacteria, bacillus, and my brain is vaporizing steam out of my ears when I see it or think of it. You think of that. 100. Do you already regret coming here? This is a question to you. And you responded. By today is Sunday, 7 p.m. sharp. It is 7 p.m. sharp. And I'm leaving you. And we will see each other with Spanish language on Tuesday, the 24th of March. Bye.